A full-scale war is rapidly escalating. Missiles are being launched, oil facilities are burning, and now the biggest question is the United States about to enter a direct war with Iran? In the past few hours, the situation in the Middle East has intensified dramatically, catapulting the region from a state of simmering tension into open conflict. What were once considered contained proxy skirmishes have now erupted into direct, state-on-state military action, sending shockwaves across the international community. The fragile balance of power, long maintained by complex diplomatic maneuvering, appears to have shattered, raising urgent questions about regional stability and the potential for a much wider war. Tehran has officially claimed responsibility, stating that its Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps has launched a coordinated and widespread series of retaliatory strikes. The targets? Critical oil and gas facilities located across the Gulf region. Reports indicate a multi-pronged assault utilizing a combination of long-range ballistic missiles and unmanned aerial drones, designed to overwhelm defensive systems and inflict maximum disruption on the global energy supply. Key infrastructure in Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and Kuwait has been hit. Among the confirmed targets are the Abqaiq processing plant in Saudi Arabia, the largest of its kind in the world, Qatar's Ras Laffan industrial city, a hub for liquefied natural gas production, and oil storage terminals in Kuwait. The economic fallout was immediate. Global oil prices have surged over 15% on the news, with energy markets bracing for unprecedented volatility. This disruption threatens to trigger a significant global energy crisis, impacting everything from transportation costs to household heating bills worldwide. These attacks do not come in a vacuum. They are a direct and forceful response to an earlier Israeli strike on Iran's largest natural gas field, South Pars. That operation, which Tel Aviv has not officially confirmed, crippled a significant portion of Iran's domestic energy production and was viewed by Tehran as a direct assault on its national sovereignty. The Iranian leadership had vowed a severe and regrettable response, and tonight's events represent the fulfillment of that promise, triggering one of the biggest and most dangerous escalations the region has seen in decades. The repercussions of the attack were not confined to the region. They rippled across the globe with breathtaking speed. Within hours, what began as a localized security incident had metastasized into a full-blown international economic event. Financial markets from Asia to North America reacted with immediate and palpable alarm. The impact is already global. On trading floors, the initial fragmented reports were enough to ignite a firestorm of activity. The uncertainty surrounding the extent of the damage and the potential for further escalation sent traders scrambling, triggering a wave of panic buying in the energy sector. Oil prices have surged, with Brent crude, the international benchmark, climbing toward $118 per barrel, a level not seen in years. This dramatic spike represents one of the most significant single-day price jumps in over a decade, drawing stark parallels to the market volatility of past geopolitical crises. The immediate loss of supply, coupled with an already tight global market, created a perfect storm for this price explosion, raising fears of a worldwide energy crisis. At the heart of the crisis, fires broke out at major energy facilities. Emergency crews have been battling intense blazes at key refineries and processing plants, which are critical nodes in the global energy supply chain. As a result, production has been disrupted across the region. Official statements confirm a near-total shutdown of the affected facilities, effectively removing millions of barrels of oil from daily global supply. The logistical network of pipelines and shipping terminals has ground to a halt, creating a bottleneck that will take weeks, if not months, to clear even after production resumes. For consumers and businesses far from the conflict, the consequences are becoming painfully clear. This disruption could directly affect fuel prices in the United States and Europe, threatening to drive inflation higher and squeeze household budgets. The specter of record-high gas prices looms, impacting everything from the daily commute to the cost of groceries as transportation expenses are passed down the supply chain. Economists are now recalibrating their forecasts, warning that a sustained period of high energy costs could stifle economic growth and potentially tip vulnerable economies into recession. Just hours before the retaliation, Israel carried out a major strike on Iran's South Pars gas field, one of the most important energy sites in the world. This attack damaged a critical part of Iran's energy supply, forcing Iran to respond. Iran responded fast and aggressively. Missiles and drones were launched toward multiple targets, including energy infrastructure in Gulf countries. Some attacks caused fires and damage, while others were intercepted. Gulf nations have called this escalation extremely dangerous. As the regional conflict intensifies, its shockwaves are reaching far beyond the immediate battle lines, threatening to disrupt the very arteries of global commerce. The focus of this escalating crisis is now one of the most strategically important trade routes in the world, the Strait of Hormuz. This narrow channel separating the Persian Gulf from the Gulf of Oman serves as a critical choke point for international maritime traffic. Any disruption here doesn't just affect regional stability. It sends immediate and severe ripples across the entire global economy, impacting energy prices, supply chains, and geopolitical tensions. The international community is watching with bated breath, as the stakes are incredibly high for nations both near and far. To understand the gravity of the situation, one must look at the numbers. The Strait of Hormuz is a waterway of unparalleled significance. At its narrowest point, the shipping lane is a mere 2 miles wide, yet through this constricted passage flows approximately 1/5 of the world's total oil consumption. That's nearly 21 million barrels of petroleum passing through on supertankers every single day. It's not just crude oil. The strait is also a primary route for liquefied natural gas, or LNG, with Qatar, a major global supplier, relying almost exclusively on this passage for its exports. This concentration of energy resources makes the strait a point of extreme vulnerability. The threat is no longer theoretical. Reports from maritime security agencies confirm that multiple commercial ships have already sustained damage in a series of calculated attacks. These incidents range from limpet mines attached to hulls to drone strikes and even direct seizures of vessels on the high seas. The human cost is palpable, with crews operating under immense stress, navigating a constant threat of violence. Since the conflict began, intelligence sources indicate that over 20 distinct vessels have been targeted, creating an atmosphere of fear and uncertainty. In response, global shipping insurance premiums for voyages through the strait have skyrocketed, adding millions to the cost of transport. Some shipping companies are now contemplating the costly and time-consuming alternative of rerouting their fleets around the entire continent of Africa, a move that would add weeks to delivery times and significantly increase fuel costs, ultimately passing those expenses on to consumers worldwide. The situation remains volatile, with each passing day bringing new risks of a major incident that could halt traffic altogether. The United States is now deeply involved. U.S. forces have already conducted strikes on Iranian military targets, and officials are warning of possible further action. There are also growing concerns about U.S. troop deployments and expanded military operations. Inside Iran, the situation is becoming even more intense. Authorities have arrested dozens of people accused of working with Israel, and reports say multiple individuals have been executed amid rising tensions. This shows how serious the conflict has become internally. In a major escalation, several high-ranking Iranian officials have been killed in recent strikes, including key security and intelligence figures. These targeted attacks are increasing the intensity of the conflict and pushing both sides toward further escalation. The human cost is rising quickly. Thousands have been affected across the region, with large-scale displacement and casualties reported. Entire communities are being forced to flee. Experts warn this could escalate into a much larger war. With energy infrastructure under attack, global oil supply at risk, U.S. involvement, increasing the situation remains extremely unstable. Right now, the world is watching closely. One wrong move could trigger a much bigger conflict. The question is no longer if things escalate, but how far this war will go. The full impact of this developing crisis remains to be seen.